Was many
an unintended and unexpected break. I haven't been feeling 100%, but I'm good before the season starts. That's the main thing. And we can get part 2 out of the way of our selections before the season starts. Otherwise, that would have just been a waste of time.
Yeah, man.
So hopefully, we can do this part 2 today, and then maybe we'll hop on at some point on Friday and do our little reveal before the season starts. I don't know about you, but I've been changing my team more and more and more.
It's a nightmare, man, because it's like there's so many like injuries, transfers. It's like all kicked off this week, hasn't it? So
yeah, big time.
I had a little play around with it last night, and I'm quite happy with what I've put together. But one of the things I changed last night has already gone wrong today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I remember I had that. I said before on the last one, I had that Unundulo, and then the day after, he still got sent on loan to Lincoln. But I had the same thing with Southampton again. I had that Obafemi 4.5 because Ings is gone, and he's going on loan to Blackburn. It's constantly changing.
And the thing is now is that like anybody who signs now it's too late to be dropping them in. Like obviously Armstrong at Southampton could be a shout in future, but yeah, like it's too late to drop anyone in. And also I was also looking at that kind of there's a few dodgy week ones like we were saying originally, but like Sancho has only just started training, and like I don't know whether I'm debating whether or not to kind of take a bit of a hit on that week 1 to have the team that I want, or to start with players that I know, that I'm confident are going to play.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of like debate that I'm having with myself. Yes. And then obviously injuries and stuff as well is kind of throwing hammers up.
And sometimes it's not necessarily the players that you've got, but the players that from the same team, like for example with City, obviously we're going to come on to them pretty shortly. They've got a few key players out, so that makes them less strong. So the players you are putting in that you think might be like good in their place won't necessarily bang because the team might not be as on it, if that makes sense. So
yeah, definitely. And like there's always some funny results to start the season with anyway. So it's but like I don't know. I'm kind of leaning more towards getting a team that I think is going to score big in week 1 rather than putting in players that they may well be on the bench. But yeah. All right, so I'll keep my team hidden for now. We can have a quick look at where I got to at the end. But so last time we got as far as Leicester, which takes us up to Liverpool. So just a reminder to everyone watching that we were going through each team and picking out a must-have, a one to watch, an avoid at all costs, and a wild card. So starting with Liverpool, then, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, I'll take Liverpool. So let's go for avoid first. So I think the avoid for me, it's tricky, Liverpool. But I think I would. Do you know what? I think I'll go for Salah, which is stupid because I've had him in my team up until last night. But hear me out.
Okay.
I was checking their pre-season games. I know it's only pre-season, but it's been Mane and Jota that's been scoring the goals, and Salah has done nothing. Now, obviously, like we know that he's like class and he's usually right up there with total points scored, but just at the value, I've been toying with other players in that bracket just because Jota is a bit cheaper. But other than Salah, I would say Firmino doesn't really do it for me at 9. He's never really. Do you have any thoughts on the avoid for Liverpool?
Yeah, I think Firmino's always been a bit of an avoid for me, to be honest, because he just doesn't score enough goals and his price doesn't reflect his points, really.
No.
Like 9 for a striker, there's just a lot more better value out there.
Yeah.
I would say that Van Dijk at 6.5 as well is a bit expensive for his comeback. We need to see how he does. With the Salah thing, so I do have him at the moment, but like for me, it's like there's a Man U and Liverpool combo there, and it's whether or not I go for Bruno and a Bruno and a Jota, or a Salah and a Sancho / Greenwood.
That's exactly the dilemma that I was dealing with last
It's
night.
a very tough choice, man. It's a very tough choice. I am leaning towards Salah and Greenwood. I just think that Salah, I don't know though, man. Bruno is like, it's hard not to have Bruno in there.
It is. I saw that he scored the other day.
Yeah.
He's back and he'll be starting.
Yeah.
It just depends really who you think is going to do best in the first few games. I expect there'll be a bit of rotation between a lot of fantasy players with those two players throughout the season, depending on form and fixtures.
Yeah. And like Jota, yeah, like he's the most likely to drop out. That's what worries me about him, like in terms of having that Firmino, Mane, Salah combination. Yeah. But he does also have a good scoring record.
He does.
And he's performed well in preseason, right?
Yeah, he's been playing like as a central striker, or that's how it appears on Flash Scores anyway. I think Firmino is getting some sort of rest, maybe from Copa America.
Yeah.
So I think that I would have Jota as my must-have from Liverpool because of the value, 7.5.
Yeah.
He would be my must-have for the first few weeks anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. You look at that, he only got 86, but he was injured for quite a while, wasn't he, last season?
He was, yeah. I think his points per game is up there with Mane's, or maybe a little bit below. But yeah, I think he's only going to get better for Liverpool.
Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, that dilemma, we're both in the same boat with that one, really.
Yeah. What else have we got? One to watch.
A wild card, one to watch. Yeah.
Wild card. My wild card is going to be Keita because apparently he's been absolutely on it in pre-season.
Yeah.
And when he was at Salzburg, he scored a lot of goals.
Yeah.
And he hasn't done it so far, but 5 mil.
5 mil is good.
Yeah, you're not going to get many. And with Wijnaldum going, he's going to get more games. So he would be my wild card. I think my one to watch. I forgot about Thiago as well, but my one to watch would be Curtis Jones. I think because I know they rate him highly. I think if he starts a lot of games, he could be one of those cheap youngsters that starts building value quite quickly.
Yeah, he's quite an attacking mid as well, isn't
he? Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're good. Yeah, they're good shouts. Keita is like, I don't know whether Klopp he's ever really won over Klopp, but you'd think that he's still a very good player, and it sounds like they might be moving Oxlade-Chamberlain along, so that's a bit less competition if that happens.
And Shaqiri as well, I think. So
yeah. The one you haven't mentioned that I would choose as my wild card is Tsimikas.
Yeah, I just seen that.
Because obviously we know, the other day Robertson got an ankle injury. He's waiting on a scan, but looks like it could be 2 or 3 months.
Have you seen the video? It looks bad.
I haven't actually. No, I haven't.
It looks like a bad one.
Oh, really? Yeah. And Tsimikas at 4 mil to get, that's a way into a Liverpool defence at 4 mil. They don't really have anyone else that can come in at left back that I can think of.
No. I think he's all right as well. That's Tsimikas. Whenever I've seen him play, he's done all right. And stuff. So yeah.
And I've been looking for a really cheap option, and it just happens to be that's come along now. So I can't. Yeah, it's kind of that's allowed me to play around a bit more with other positions. So yeah. Hopefully he will be the kind of the starter after that.
I think a lot of people cotton on. I think his team selected by will be quite high by the time the season starts. Because I'm sure the scout will put it up or other podcasts will put it up. So
yeah, you see what he's on now. Maybe 2.6% at the moment.
That'll go up, I reckon, to
you would
10-15%.
You would have thought so. Yeah. All right, cool. I think that covers Liverpool.
Yeah.
All right, Man City then. Cool. So yeah, Man City. Stefan actually played really well in the Charity Shield the other day. Their reserve keep. So I don't know if you watched it.
I saw bits of it, but I haven't seen much of him.
He's good, man. But yeah, so must have. I will have to go for Diaz. I have him. He's their most guaranteed starter in defence.
Yeah.
And that steady stream of points coming in for the Man City clean sheet. So
they got more sheets than everyone else, I think.
Obviously, yeah. In terms of points tallies, you got more of a chance with Cancelo and stuff for a one-off week. But looking at this, even this shows last year that
Yeah,
Diaz still beat Cancelo, even though he got some big scores. So I think the consistency is there.
Yeah.
My avoid, I will probably have to go with Jesus.
Yeah.
He's not going to play enough, even though he's the only striker on their books at the moment.
That says all, isn't it? He's the only striker and he still can't get a game. So
yeah, I have to. Ferran Torres, though, who was my kind of potential wild card, he did nothing in the Charity Shield up front.
was he playing up front? Was he?
Yeah,
and
he was completely innocuous most of the game. So, whereas that I was considering that as a wild card option, that sort of put me off a bit. One to watch, probably have to go for Grealish, just because.
Yeah,
we need to. It is one to watch. Where's he going to be playing? He came on left wing in the Charity Shield, but yeah, where's he going to be playing? Is he going to be rotated the same as everyone else, or is he going to be starting all the time? I'm reluctant to put him in straight away, but yeah, definitely one to keep an eye out.
Mm-hmm.
And wild card again, because he's in my team for the time being, I'll have to go Mahrez. I think that obviously we know the rotation's crazy at City, but like you said, De Bruyne and Foden are out for the first few weeks.
Yeah.
The players that they have in terms of Sterling, Grealish, are more left-sided.
True.
They both operate on the left, whereas Mahrez is very much on the right, cutting in on his left.
It's only Bernardo that plays on the right as well, isn't it? But Pep said that he's he's asked to leave, so he's not going to be in the plans, is he? So Mahrez should have it nailed down.
Yeah, and against Leicester, it wasn't his day, but he was their biggest threat in terms of he was getting into position. He had quite a few shots, and. Yeah, we know that if he does play, when he does start, he's a really good option to have. So I don't think it's going to be a long-term shout for me, but for the start of the season, while De Bruyne and Foden are out, that's what I'm going for.
Yeah, just on that, I was the same. I've had Mahrez up until now, but I've actually swapped him out last night for Gundogan, even though he's $2 more expensive than last year, and I didn't have him last year. I think he might play that shadow striker KDB role when there's no striker, in which case he should be popping up in those little pockets where he was doing so well last season. So that was just my thinking with him.
Yeah, you're also just you're less vulnerable to the Pep roulette. Yeah. I've switched between Gundogan and Mahrez quite a few times, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's still up for debate for me as well. It's also that if you do need a bit of extra money to play around with,
that's why I like to do it.
Yeah, that's a place where you can easily.
Mahrez is on with KDB out. You got to think that he's going to be on set pieces as well, so he's got potential to. Yeah.
Actually, I think that they took a free kick each, him and Gundogan.
Okay.
So yeah, Gundogan nearly scored one actually in the first half, and then Mahrez took one in the second. So. Yeah, I think there'll be two very important players for the start of the season. But yeah, it's whether or not you need to save that extra bit of money. And if you're thinking more long term, then maybe Gundogan's a better shout as well. All right, United.
So I think we already sort of alluded to it on maybe not the last one, maybe the pod before, but Shaw, I think we both said was up for a good season. I think once Varane comes in, their defense is going to be pretty solid. It was already quite solid last season. Tellez is out, so he's going to be starting 100%, and he seems to take some free kicks and corners that Bruno's not on. So yeah, he'd be my must-have.
Yeah, he showed it again in the Euros how good he is in an attacking sense as well as defensive. He's also he must have got a few bonus points last year as well because
it was the end of the season, wasn't it, that he really started pushing on.
Yeah, 22 bonus points last season.
A lot more than season.
A double more than his previous kind of best total. So yeah, again, I definitely do want to get Shaw in, but I just wonder whether it's worth waiting a week or two for that one, just because their defense isn't complete yet. Varane's not ready yet. I don't even know if Shaw will 100% be ready for game week 1.
He played the Everton game, I think. I'm not sure.
Oh, did he?
But
Well, in that case, yeah, he should be. But it's also I've got Cresswell at the same price point, and Target is there. Shaw in for Target is a strong possibility for me. Yeah,
I can imagine what could be quite a risky thing in the first few weeks is you'll be happy because like someone like Shaw will start. You'll be like, yes, I've made the right decision, and then he'll get pulled at like 59 minutes when they're holding a clean sheet. And then
that's possible.
I can see that.
That's very possible. Yeah.
Avoid for United. Probably. Yeah, I mean, I've never rated Wan-Bissaka as a fantasy threat just because I do rate him as a player, but he just doesn't get enough. He doesn't get forward and doesn't get the assists and goals that any other 5 points, like you said, Cresswell. I think you've got Tierney all in that bracket. I think he does get his fair share of bonus, but
yeah, because he gets a lot of tackles in and stuff, doesn't he? He's really high up for tackling. But he's got the least.
United don't actually rate him that highly. Like, they quite like that. Dallow's been playing well in pre-season apparently, so he might challenge him for right back.
And obviously they've been trying to sign Trippier, haven't they? So they obviously want to upgrade in that position as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I want to watch.
Probably Sancho, because you got to watch him in the sense that you don't know if he's gonna. I mean, if he starts the first game as a blinder, everyone's going to put him in. But he might be one of those. They introduce him slowly over the first few weeks while he comes back from the England disappointment. So yeah, he'd be one to watch.
Yeah, I read earlier that Solskjaer's already hinted that he might not start that first game. He's only just started training with them this week. So I have a strong feeling he's going to be on the bench. And I also have a strong feeling that a lot of people are going to go for him. Well, it's only 12% at the moment, but
it's still quite a lot.
Yeah, it's still quite a lot. So I feel like it's a way to maybe try and get one up on some people in game week 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then one to watch.
Wildcard.
Wildcard, sorry.
Tuffy.
It is maybe. I don't really want to say him because I just don't think he's all that. Van de Beek, I'm just thinking maybe he might get a few more games. But he's one of those, I don't really know what he is. Like, is he?
No.
I actually sort of played that false 9, but I've never seen him play that for United. So.
No, he's never that high up the pitch, really. It doesn't seem like. I would maybe go for even McTominay because he did show that he can kind of get forward and get the odd goal.
Yeah, he got a few goals actually.
Yeah. Or maybe Jesse Lingard because we don't know. If he can replicate the form for West Ham,
well,
at 7 mil, he'd end up being, a really good option. But the likelihood is he's still going to be a bit part player for United, you would have thought.
Yeah, he's not going to be starting for them, is he?
You wouldn't have thought so, no. So, yeah, and then for me, it's all about Greenwood, the one that sticks out for the start of the season. He scored, didn't he, the other day in a friendly?
He did, yeah.
And yeah, with if Sancho doesn't start to begin with, and with Rashford being out, then it means that Greenwood's going to be in there. So,
I think as well. Yeah. I don't know why, but Cavani, like some United fans were moaning on Twitter that Cavani's still on holiday. Again, it might be a Copa America thing.
It was, but it did. I read earlier he's he's been given 5 weeks, which does seem like a long time. Yeah, again, does that? I've got him, and yeah, that worries me a bit as well for the starting lineup of the weekend.
That's why I said about Martial earlier before I thought, fuck that. Like,
but
yeah, that's one to. Yeah, United are going to be an interesting one the first few weeks.
Yeah,
bit risky, but could be high reward.
With that Arsenal game on the Friday as well, it means the Saturday and Sunday games we're going to be doing them a bit blind. We're not really going to have that much information to go off in terms of what the starting lineups are going to be.
Yeah.
All right, Newcastle.
Is this you? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go. So So for a must-have, I was gonna say, did we do must-have for United? Anyway, it would probably be Bruno. I know you said Shaw, didn't you? You said
Sure,
Shaw.
but Bruno would be
But
up there.
Bruno is, it's the Bruno or Salah, or do you try and squeeze in two high value, which I know you did at one stage, didn't you? But then you're taking some serious hits in the rest of the team.
Yeah,
tough. Newcastle then, yeah. So for for a must-have, I'll go for Wilson. I was thinking about putting him in earlier because their fixtures to begin with.
They're nice, aren't they?
Yeah, not bad start to the season at all.
They're quite a good team, like Newcastle. As much as the fans obviously hate Mike Ashley and everything that's going on there, they do like as well as they can, really, I would say. And 134 points is quite a decent return.
Definitely, especially because he's a bit injury prone as well. He definitely missed a few. He didn't play every single week.
I think he takes pens as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, it takes pens, and he's their main man, and he is a good striker. He gets goals when he plays. So yeah, I'm half considering him as an option, to be fair. And avoid. It's controversial, but I might have to say Saint Maximin. Because he's a striker, he's a forward now. So
yeah, I noticed they changed him to forward.
Yeah, it's a bit. Rashford still counts as a midfielder. I don't see why. Although I guess sometimes last season Bruce was playing him and Wilson kind of as a two up front for counter attacks, right? So they've obviously gone for that. But I just think even as a midfielder, he didn't really. I liked him as an option, but even as a midfielder, he didn't score big. So as a
fun player to watch, but fantasy wise, he's one of those he could score 2 and assist in one game, but then do nothing for weeks and weeks and weeks. So that's not a player.
Yeah. One to watch. I'll go for probably Richie. Richie, because as a defender, he has always kind of tempted me a bit. He's a very attacking wing back at the end of the day. And
has he always been down as defender on this? Or?
I think last season he was. Yeah. Previously he was midfield. Last season he was, but it depends how much he plays. Did he get an injury last season?
I think he might have done, yeah.
I think he might have done because he was in and out of the team. But if he's playing, he'll take their set pieces and stuff, and he gets forward a lot. So I think Richie could be an option. And then a wild card. That's tough.
I've always quite liked that Fabian Schär, the defender. He can get some goals sometimes, but I'm not sure if he always starts. He was starting for, is it Switzerland or Austria? One of those two in the Euros.
Switzerland, I think. Yeah. So, and Lascelles as well. Again, very injury prone, but he actually, in terms of offering a threat from set pieces as well and getting the odd goal.
Yeah.
Lascelles could be a wild card for that reason.
I think I had him a couple of seasons ago. I think he was injured most of last season. But
the last year or two, injuries have really, really affected him.
Oh, one other thing to say on Newcastle quickly is that he's not on there yet, obviously, but Willock is supposedly 25 mil agreed. So I think that'll go through, and he's 6 mil. I think I looked at him last night. 6, I guess that would put it. Yeah.
79 points when you think that was pretty much entirely in the second half of the season.
I know.
I mean, he's pretty much outscored nearly all the Arsenal players. It's amazing. That was 6 mil. It was kind of a tough one because nobody really brought him in last year, because it was sort of nobody expected him to keep it going. But clearly, if he's going to take up that same role at Newcastle, and he's going to be getting forward a lot. And
he gets a lot of winning goals, which is obviously good for bonus.
To
watch for that.
True. Okay, we're on to one of our promoted teams, which is always a bit harder. But Norwich.
I think have they bought someone in? Oh, so they've got Gilmore now.
Yeah.
Cantwell, Pukki's still there. Oh yeah. Okay, so straight away I've seen one to watch. Rashika.
Yeah. So you know a bit about him from Bundesliga, is it?
A bit about him from Bundesliga, yeah. He was like the talisman at Werder Bremen, but they're always like right down the bottom of the table. And he was linked with Leipzig and some other good like top 4 Bundesliga teams. I think he sort of went off the boil a little bit last season, which is probably why he's ended up somewhere like Norwich. They're taking a bit of a chance on him, probably with the Buendia money. But he does get goals, and he gets goals outside the box, which I think helps towards bonus.
I'm pretty sure it does. Yeah. And so, 0.3% selected by, so that's a definite. Yeah, you could definitely catch some people out with that one.
Good. I think they've got tough fixtures, but I'll probably put him on the watch list. Yeah. And then I think the obvious, definite one to have would be Pukki, I guess, just because he did dry out a little bit in the second half of that season when he was on it.
Yeah, he sort of got off to a flyer and he was scoring mad points, but then sort of died off after that. But I suppose I assume he's still their main man up front.
Yeah, I mean my wild card is going to be Ida because I know that he's young and I quite like him. He's like a strong, quite similar to Pukki in a way. But I think he got quite a few goals in Championship, so Ida would be my wild card.
I think they were a bit over reliant on Pukki last time as well. Like it was like they didn't really have any other options. So yeah, like it might take the pressure off him a little bit.
They had quite a good relationship with Buendia, so it'd be interesting to see if maybe Rashica can step up and give him the same sort of service.
Yeah.
And then avoid.
It's tough.
I'd avoid the whole lot, to be honest. Just
avoid the defense.
Avoid the defense, definitely. Yeah. So whoever their most expensive defender is, are they all 4.5? Are they?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, avoid them.
The only defender I'd even consider is Max Aarons, just because he's a good player. But yeah, they're going to be conceding too many goals. And then how about Gilmore as a wild card?
Yeah, he should be starting every week for them. Really, shouldn't he? He's the best player there. Yeah, really.
4.5 for us for a midfielder. You know,
I think he's more box to box as well than people think. Like he's not just a tackling type. So yeah, he could get some goal contributions, I guess.
Yeah, I think I'll be keeping an eye out to see how far up the pitch he gets. Is he going to be kind of dictating the play from deep, or will he actually be breaking forward, sort of thing?
Yeah.
But yeah, not too much to be said. I mean, likelihood is neither of us are going to be having any Norwich players anytime soon. All right, Southampton. So like I mentioned earlier, they're on the verge of signing Armstrong. I'm quite interested to see what is it. Armstrong? I have 2 Armstrongs.
Yeah, so that's they got. Is he Stuart Armstrong? That one, right? And then the one they're getting is the one from
Blackburn.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see what price he comes in at. Avoid. I'll go for. I will go for Adams at 7.
It's a bit expensive, isn't it?
It is a bit expensive. I mean that's not a bad total from last year, to be fair to him. But
I think he gets a lot of assists.
But a lot of those, how many of those assists were for Danny Ings at the end of the day?
Yeah.
And yeah, they've lost more firepower again. So 7, I just don't think that they're going to be scoring plenty of goals really. And yeah, 7 mil. There's just much better options up front at that price. I want to watch. I will go for maybe Gineppo.
Yeah, he's always one that's like, I think all of those 3, that Gineppo, Teller, and Diallo.
Yeah,
I guess all of those could potentially. They've all shown glimpses of, because like Gineppo's meant to be like the next Mane, isn't he? Like for them,
I think so. Yeah.
I think, but I know sometimes they play like that. So he's been playing as a wing back, which don't really suit him. But if he plays further forward now, Ings has gone, then yeah, he could be one to watch.
Yeah, I think you're right. Those 3 are sort of like you can tell their points were very spread around last season. So I suppose it depends which one of them is going to kind of become more of the main man out of them lot.
Yeah.
Must have. I think it's got to be Ward Prowse, hasn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Free kick king. Yeah, he's become more and more important for them every season. So at 6.5 is still not a bad price.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and if you want to get some have that security as some set piece specialist in the team, then he's an obvious one.
Especially if they got some big blokes at the back, haven't they? That you can like Vestergaard and
yeah, definitely. And then a wild card, I will probably go for. Walker Peters, maybe. Yeah, maybe. He's a good player, but 5 mil for a Southampton defender.
Yeah, that is expensive, isn't it?
I just don't think they're going to be solid enough at the back to warrant that price. True. I'll probably go for Armstrong when he comes in, the new signing.
Yeah.
Depending on the price, I suspect it'll be about 6.5 mil.
Yeah.
And maybe McCarthy because I think he's a decent keeper, and there aren't many options at 4.5 for a keeper. So at the moment, I've got 2 4.5s, Raya.
And you've got Raya now as well. I got him.
I do, but that could easily be McCarthy instead.
Yeah.
I think so. But the only thing is that I don't know whether Forster might. That it's close between them two, isn't it? Yeah. So it's like if one of them makes a mistake, they could easily drop him for the other one. So yeah. Whereas Raya, you'd expect him to be the number one no matter what, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Your favourites first.
Avoid them all.
I assume you watched the Arsenal friendly, so you got a bit of insight there.
Yeah, I did get some good insight. To be fair, the insight being that we're both as shit as each other, but the Dele Alli's a cunt. Yeah, they looked like no different really. Like they went through like large periods of the game without possession, quite similar to Mourinho. I don't really understand like the Nuno appointment. Don't really make sense to me, but yeah, I think for Spurs we'll start with. I think the must-have is Son. I'll check if you just give him a little click. His goals and assists, like the last, since he signed, basically, it's just ridiculous. He's double-digit goals and assists every season.
Yeah,
as well. He's going to be their talisman without Kane there. I've actually put him in now, even though I'm not that confident about Spurs. I am confident about him. So he's my must-have.
Yeah, I basically had him all of last season, I think, pretty much. He was the one player who I really didn't want to take out at any point.
He was on fire, wasn't he, at the start of last season?
Yeah, and like you say, it's like if Tottenham do score, it's either Kane or Son normally, So,
yeah.
And I think 10 mil is still okay. Like, what was he last year? Like 9.5. So they haven't pushed him up too much.
Yeah.
But the thing that's stopping me is that the uncertainty of how good Tottenham are going to be, because I really am. How many midfielders have they got as well? That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
that is ridiculous. So Son is a must-have. Yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree with that.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I think you've already sort of alluded to it, and he did look. He hit the post twice yesterday actually, and he was getting in some good positions. Dele Alli, 6.5. If you go back a couple of seasons, he was sort of double digits goals and assists. Or around that sort of area, I imagine, was he at some point? Yeah.
I mean, there was that one season, 18 goals, unbelievable. But even the season after that, 9 and 13.
Yeah. With 6.5, if you can hit anywhere near that, I mean, even like 8 and 6.
Considering when you look at the amount of minutes he played,
he does. The one thing I will say about him is that he has a knack of getting in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
The only thing that worries me is he did an absolute horror challenge on Pepe yesterday. And he was just like every chance that he had to like be a twat and just like throw the ball away or like get in someone's face, he was doing it.
Yeah.
Cards wise and bonus wise, probably not that great. But if he can get the goals and assists, then definitely one to watch at 6.5.
Yeah, I think it's just that price really. And like you say, he could have scored a couple at the weekend, and we know that he's an attacking threat. I think that 1.2%. I think that if he's playing well, if he even scores 1 or 2 to begin with, that's going to fly up. People are going to throw him in, and his price is going to rocket as well. So
true.
I'm having him in there as a kind of price riser as well.
Yeah, it's a good shout. I was tempted by Lucas Moura at the same price, but because he's scored a few in pre-season, but he didn't look very good yesterday, and he's one of those, isn't he? He's just
frustrating player. Yeah.
Cool. So then, do we need to do a void? Yeah, void.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the old defense.
Yeah.
I mean, Aurier is a bit of a card machine, isn't he?
Yeah.
Do you know what, actually, I'm going to go for Lloris as the avoid because he's 5.5, and I think there's better goalies. Like for 5.5 more, you can get Edison, and he's clean sheets wise, I'm pretty sure City will easily outdo Tottenham. He makes quite a few mistakes, and this Golini they've brought in is supposedly like one of the better reserve keeps in the Prem. So he might actually challenge him for his spot. So yeah, I would go for a void.
I think Martinez is the same price as Lloris in it, and I would rather go with Martinez if it was between them two. Yeah, and a wild card.
I think wild card originally when I was first started looking at fantasy, I went for Doherty because of his previous good form for Wolves with Nuno. I didn't think Nuno. I think Nuno was actually more than happy to sort of sell him by the sounds of it. So Aurier, him and Aurier are going to be switching, so I'm not keen on that. So yeah, my wild card will be: is Sessegnon actually there? Because
apparently so. I don't know I'm not sure what the deal is with him. No,
I always rated him when he was at Fulham, but
he scored loads in the Championship, didn't he? So if he's down as a defender and then he actually does start playing upfield, further upfield, at 4.5, it could be a no-brainer. But I just don't see him getting the game time. I don't see it.
Anyone else that you can see?
I'd probably go. Yeah, I'd have to. I was thinking Brian Gill.
Yeah.
I didn't even realise until I watched a bit of the final that he was at the Olympics.
I watched a bit of that. Yeah.
So yeah, maybe more of a one to watch than a wild card. But yeah, I don't think he's going to be playing for. They only just played the final, so he's got to come back. Surely he's got to have a bit of rest.
He's going to be knocked back to that after international break, basically, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be a while. So, but at 6 mil, by all accounts, I suppose he's going to be. Is he right wing? A right winger?
I think so. Yeah. No, I think he's actually left. So I watched some YouTube. He looks like a bit of a Sané type.
Yeah.
Quite silky, quite quick.
Yeah. Could be one. Dependent. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see with that one. It's going to take a while. Cool. Watford.
Good luck.
Out of all of the, they've got crazy amount of defenders and midfield. Their squad is just way too big.
That is ridiculous.
And they must have the biggest squad in the Premier League, at least on the fantasy football. They do. They must do.
Midfield and their strike. Yeah, all of it. That's insane.
Yeah, crazy. They've got a Championship squad still. But yeah, out of all the promoted teams, they probably got the best chance of doing all right, I reckon. Because they've got a lot. They do have a lot of Premier League experience in their team. They've got Cleverley, Hughes, Deeney, King. A lot of players who have been there, and they were competitive for a while. In the Premier League. Danny Rose. Danny Rose. Yeah. So right. But yeah, and so then in terms of a must-have, it would have to be Sarr for me. And I have thought about bringing him in a couple of times, but they've got some good fixtures as well.
Yeah.
Good little run. 4.2%. So some people have picked him out, but I didn't watch them in the Championship, so it's hard for me to put faith in someone who I've not really seen play at all, and I don't really know. I don't know how good he is really. So I'm gonna wait and see with him. But out of all of their players, he's probably the one that stands out.
Yeah.
An avoid, I will have to probably go for probably Troy Deeney, because I don't know. Does he still regular? Is he still their mate? Does he start for them
I reckon
regularly?
he's one of those now where he's like the club captain, but he just hangs around the training ground basically, and then just
Yeah, exactly.
the youngsters and has the old game.
Yeah, exactly. It used to be an all right shout because he took their pens and
Yeah.
like yeah. And there was that season when he played up front with oh, what's his name now? Went to United, Igalo.
Oh yeah.
And I remember watching like a highlights from that season, and literally, obviously, Igalo was scoring all the time, but some of the assists that Deeney was putting out for him were insane. But yeah, those days are gone.
Yeah.
Avoid. One to watch. Yeah, let's go for Danny Rose. Yeah, good attacking fullback. Like could get some points for them. Like, and I suspect that he'll be their main left back. Yeah. So yeah, if they, sometimes the promoted teams actually defensively are quite solid. So if they are, he could be a good shout.
Mm-hmm.
And then wild card.
Yeah.
Wild card. I mean, there's so many here because I don't know who they are. So they're all wild cards because I have no idea. But I will probably go for Sam Hughes. Will Hughes, sorry. Will Hughes. I knew I got that wrong when I said it.
Oh,
yeah, Will Hughes. I mean, yeah, he's not really ever scored big, don't get me wrong, but that season there, 4 assists, 2 goals. He's capable of scoring points from midfield, but yeah, I mean,
slim pickings, isn't it?
Yeah, slim pickings. Yeah. Any names that you know of that I've missed out there or not?
To be honest, no. I mean, I noticed a couple of the defenders. They've got that Ngakia, who was like at West Ham. He's an all right player.
Oh yeah.
And that Kiko Femenia, I think he was their player of the season last season, but I'm not sure that he really gets. He plays right back, but I'm not sure he gets forward that much.
Yeah, he's not listed on there for some reason.
He's under Femenia rather than Kiko.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see. Yeah.
It's like whenever I search for Bruno Fernandes, I'm there typing BR for ages. I'm like, where the fuck?
It's not there.
Forget it.
All right, last 2. Here we go. The Hammers.
Right, I think
they got a few options to be fair.
You know what? I was looking at them. I was thinking, are they going to be a one-season wonder, or are they going to continue? And their pre-season, they've been on it. They've been scoring. Okay, they've been playing like lower opposition, but they've been scoring goals plenty. They've got so many options. I think they'll have another good season. I'll start with a definite. I think we already said Cresswell.
Yeah,
I've got him in now as well. I think he got 11 assists last season.
11 assists. Wow,
is the highest by 2 or 3, and then there's a big drop down to the rest. And you can say, "Oh, that might be a one-season thing," but
Wow, looking at this, he's had a 10. Yeah. No, sorry, a 7. He's had 7 before. Maybe he went from no assists to 11 assists.
Yeah.
But I guess he must not have been taking set pieces before for them.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah. And the other seasons, he's played less minutes, so you can forgive him. Yeah, he's going to be on all the set pieces, and he's quality at them. West Ham's got a lot of big blokes that you can pick out, and I think their fixtures are all right as well. So, would you agree on that?
Yeah, we both got him. I'm going to have him for. I think he's going to be a mainstay in my team, probably. Yeah.
The other one I was sort of thinking of, who I don't really rate, but he does do well for them, and you sort of said he's the only striker they got, is Antonio. So I think I'll go with him as my one to watch. I noticed he's got a few goals in pre-season. How many goals did he end up with last year? Maybe to get double digits?
10. Yeah, so 10. Yeah.
How much is he sit? 7.5.
7.5, but there's a few around that 7.5 range for strikers.
Yeah.
I put him in my latest bit of tinkering actually because Watkins and Calvert-Lewin have been flagged as potential doubts now.
I was going to say that, yeah.
Yeah. So, but then and then Danny Ings is that extra 0.5.
I've made the switch from Watkins to Ings at the moment.
Yeah. It's getting tricky.
It is. And Calvert-Lewin, I don't know how he's injured because I swear he hasn't even been playing preseason. So I need to keep.
I think it's literally just a knock. So
I really want him in there because they've got good fixtures. I need a decent Everton player. So yeah. But anyway,
they did just get smashed 4-0 though to United, didn't they, as well?
They did, yeah. It was a bit concerning. And
that's made me think, because also you and one of our keen listeners, Matthew Cole, both decided to go big on West Ham. No, sorry, on Everton defenders because of their fixtures.
Yeah,
I assume that's put you on now, is it?
It did, yeah. So I did have Keane and Digne.
Yeah,
and I can't remember my latest Cole. I think I got rid of both.
Yeah.
That could change. It might have been just an off day for them. I know Raf is quite a defensive coach, but it's a bit tricky trying to work out how he's going to get on.
Yeah, sorry, we went on a tangent there, but so West Ham.
So he said, Cresswell is the one.
And
Antonio is potentially one to watch. You've got him in your team
at the moment. Yeah.
A wild card, I think maybe. Let's have a look price wise. I'm thinking maybe Benrahma could be second season. I think he scored a few in pre-season.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think it's similar to that Saints thing that we were saying because for me, they're all around the same price range. But Bowen, Benrahma, and Yarmolenko.
Yeah.
Yarmolenko at 5.5. He's always injured, isn't he? But if he's not, 5.5. He's a very he did well at the Euros, didn't he, for Ukraine?
Yeah, he's a good player, man.
He's got a hell of a left foot on him. He's very attacking. I feel like it's all about how many minutes he can play.
If you times that season where he got 5 and 9 at 81 by say 3, so you say he played every game, he'd be looking at 15 goals, wouldn't he? But
yeah, exactly. And last season, look at that, he only played 4 games basically.
He's one of those as well. Like I don't know, like how old is he? He could be anywhere between like 27 and 35. I haven't got any idea.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I think he is kind of mid to late 20s. He only played 302 minutes and got 3 yellow cards though, so that's something to watch out for. But yeah, maybe Bowen as well. I do like Bowen.
I like Bowen. Liverpool were linked with him, weren't they?
Well, yeah.
I think Moyes prefers Bowen to they're quite similar, but Bowen gives you more work rate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
not that's necessarily like a good thing on fantasy, but he'll be getting more minutes.
Yeah,
I do like Bowen.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see who kind of who's playing the most out of those three options.
Did we do an avoid?
No, I don't think so. No. I
just noticed. He's down. I was going to say Noble, but he's so cheap. It's not really. He doesn't play. It really seems. He's one like Dini. He doesn't really seem to play anymore.
Yeah. For me, I'd probably go for.
I just seen one actually. Go on, you go first.
I'd probably go for Kufal, not because he's a bad player, he's a good player and he actually gets a lot of assists, but just because if it's between him and Cresswell for 0.5, it's got to be Cresswell.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Yeah, that makes sense. I just noticed that I know Fabianski is a bit of a fan's favourite on fantasy, but they've brought in that Areola from PSG, is it?
Yeah.
So I'm sure that he's going to be... Oh, wait, hang on a minute. He's saying he's got 124 points, Areola.
That's from last season, so for Fulham, right? Because he was at Fulham, wasn't he?
On loan. Oh, was he?
Yeah. He was Fulham's keeper last season.
Oh, for some reason I thought he was from PSG. For some reason, I don't know.
No, he was on loan at Fulham from PSG.
Oh, right. I
think they've just loaned him to West Ham.
Yeah.
Cool. So I don't know. That's interesting. That competition I don't know who's going to play out those two. They're the same price, so God knows. But I mean, you probably Areola. You would have thought. Otherwise, why would they bother bringing him in?
Yeah.
And then what about Souček, who we haven't mentioned quickly?
Oh yeah, he was a beast last season, wasn't he?
He was.
It's just my concern with him is on set pieces. Are they going to start like a team's cottoned onto him and they're going to start putting like 2 on him. And I mean, they've got so many big men that you can't really afford to do that. So he might continue in the same vein of form. But if he doesn't really. I notice he doesn't get many assists. It's all about the goals. So
he does get himself into the box a lot, even in open play. But I think he did start to tail off towards the end of last season.
Yeah.
Which is kind of put me off putting him in straight away. But if he starts getting them on the goals again, then that 6 mil is a good option.
Yeah.
Cool. And then all right, so we're at Wolves. Wolves are a bit of an unknown this season, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think they might struggle a bit.
I think they might.
But in terms of okay, so I think must have. I'd still go with Traore. I think. Although looking at that, I mean, he only got 2 goals and 4 assists last season, and I had him for quite a while as well, which was a poor shout.
The thing with him, I'm not convinced.
No.
But again, like I said, you don't really know how they're going to be this season. He is one of those players that when he's on it, he is like unbeatable.
Yeah.
It's just.
But they also they utilize him as a super sub a lot, don't they? They like to bring him on off the bench. So I don't know. Like I think
if he Trincao.
Yeah, they do. So he was going to be my one to watch actually. Yeah. So Leicester were linked with him actually for a while. But obviously it's that Portuguese connection with Wolves.
It's a joke, isn't it? They're literally like all Portuguese.
I know. Even their new manager, he's a bit of an unknown.
Yeah.
Like he's Portuguese, and his agent is that Mendes guy as well. It's just like the Mendes factory, isn't it? Basically, it's ridiculous. But Trincao. Other than the fact that he was really hyped and they went to Barcelona, which obviously makes you think he's quality. I don't really know enough about. I haven't seen him play enough, but I will be keeping an eye out for him. Definitely want to watch. And then an avoid. It's gonna have to be Fabio Silva. Jimenez is back now, and we've seen last season that Silva wasn't up to it. He wasn't up to the Prem yet, so. Even if 6 mil kind of feels like it could be a good price, I'd avoid that. And then the wild card will have to be Jimenez because I mean
he scored the other day, didn't he? Pre-season.
But
you don't know if he's ever going to get back to. It's hard to tell with head injuries, like how much it affects you mentally.
Yeah. Especially him because someone like that he is a big centre forward who did score quite a few headers and uses his physicality a lot. But before he did get injured, out of all the strikers around that price range, he was the one performing the best. I'd say the most consistent.
He was the must-have really, wasn't he, in that price?
Pretty much until his injury. He was.
How many goals did he get? Like the season before the injury, must have been double digits. Yeah,
17 with 7 assists.
And there's minutes played as well. He plays 90 minutes every week, basically, doesn't he? So
but I don't. Like I say, I think Wolves are going to be not going to be as strong as they have been the last kind of few years. We saw that after Jimenez's injury last year that they struggled a bit.
And like Neto and Podence are out by the looks of it for like quite a while. And they're like 2 of their most creative players, really, aren't they?
Yeah, unknown return date for Neto. Yeah, he got it last season, didn't he? The knee injury, I think.
Yeah.
But he's a quality player, and when he does come back to fitness, he could be one from them to pick.
Yeah.
And I didn't mention any of the defenders, but I don't. Yeah, I would avoid their defense until we see what this Portuguese guy's tactics are like and how he plays.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. That's it then. We've gone through all of the teams. Here's a little insight into my lineup for the time being.
I'm having a cheeky look.
It's changed a lot over the last few days, and it will change again, no doubt. Bertrand, I don't know if you've noticed, has been taking set pieces for Leicester.
Is it?
Yeah, and he's started the Villarreal and the Charity Shield game, so I think the Luke Thomas shout is dead in the water.
I'm taking him out.
And yeah, he's taking corners and a few free kicks as well. So
okay,
100%.
Who played centre back for you boys at the weekend?
Daniel Armati.
Was he?
He did all right. He did all right, but I mean, I'm hoping that's not the long-term solution. I'm hoping we're going to sign someone. Harvey Barnes played really well. The only thing with Barnes and the only thing with the Leicester players, right, and this is the Villarreal and the Charity Shield game, what Rodgers has done is he started with Vards up front on his own with Barnes on the wing.
Yeah.
And then after about 60, 70 minutes, he's then taken them both off and put on Daka and Iheanacho and gone 2 up front.
Okay.
So basically, and especially with Barnes still kind of feeding his way back. If you are picking Barnes, then bear in mind you're picking a 70-minute player, basically. And it's the same with unfortunately, it's the same with Vardy, Daka, and Iheanacho, because I would like Daka or Iheanacho, but there's none of those 4 are going to be playing 90 minutes. I don't think.
No, that's a good shout with Barnes because, if you look at him, his stats from last season before he got injured, I think he got like double-digit goals, did he?
9 and 5. But in that many minutes, it's really good. It's really good.
I think he's gonna, if he kicks on this season, I can see him, being in with an England shout if he carries on that sort of form.
Yeah.
I do really like him, to be fair. But that's what you say about the 70 minutes.
Yeah, it's. I don't think that's that's not necessarily a reason to avoid someone just because they're going to get subbed. I mean, most wingers will get subbed at some point. But but with him, I know for a fact that he's not going to play the 90. So it's just something to bear in mind. Yeah.
I think we've only got 3 players that are the same. So should we do another one of these later in the week to sort of go over our final thoughts?
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, as I say, it's going to change a lot. Either Thursday or Friday we'll hop on and have a look at our final thoughts. That's interesting though that we got. I think with a lot. I mean, we haven't even mentioned Lukaku coming in, which is crazy. And that's going to be a high value striker.
How much do you think he'll be? 11
or 12? I would have thought. Yeah, I think
he's going to get goals galore in that team, isn't he?
Yeah. I feel like there's going to be more options this season than kind of ever before. So people's teams are going to be more diverse than ever before as well. And like, whereas in previous seasons, kind of, there's been 3 or 4 players that have ended up being must-haves. I think that's going to end up. It's going to be still going to be a choice of like 10 players. So, it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be an interesting one, that's for sure. All right, cool. Well, thanks for that, man. And I'll catch you on Thursday or Friday for the final reveal before Arsenal put up the curtains.
Pull down the curtains.
All right, cool. Thanks all. Bye.